So tonight we'll call the 16th regular meeting to order. This is the meeting of the Village Board of Trustees of the Village of Depew, November 8th, 2021, and it is 7:04, looks like. Pledge by Trustee Kasevich, please.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you can remain standing, I'll give you the invocation tonight. God of justice and mercy, thank you for the gift of life and the opportunity to serve the people of our village. Help us to act with character and conviction. Help us to listen with understanding and goodwill. Help us to speak with charity and restraint. Give us a spirit of service. Remind us that we are stewards of your authority. Guide us to be leaders your people need. Help us see the humanity and dignity of those who disagree with us and to treat all persons, no matter how weak or poor, with the reverence your creation deserves. And finally, Father, renew us with the strength of your presence and the joy of helping to build a community worthy of the human person. We ask this as your sons and daughters, confident in your goodness and love. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Notification of fire exits. Trustee Hammernick.
The emergency exits are located to my left and to the rear of the room. In the event of an alarm or emergency, please move in an orderly fashion to the exits and evacuate the building.
Need a roll call, please.
Trustee Hammernick.
Present.
Trustee Zamba.
Here.
Trustee Kasevich.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Stepnia.
Here.
Mayor Peters.
Here. First item, approve Village Board meeting minutes of October 25th, 2021.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make a motion that we approve the Village Board meeting minutes from October 25th, 2021.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Next up, accept zoning board minutes from the October 14th, 2021 meeting.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make the following motion to accept the zoning board minutes from October 14th, 2021. Number 1, David Gina for property located at 90 Harvard Avenue of Chapter 260-23 to B2 to permit him to install a deck within the minimum required 5-foot setback from property line. Amended, variance granted.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Number 2.
Number 2, Gerald Fernandez for property located at 116 Meridian Street of Chapter 260-23B2 to permit him to construct a garage within the minimum required 5-foot setback from property line. Denied.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Number 3.
Number 3, Tim Bunch for property located at 6321 Transit Road of Chapter 260-26A2 to permit him to erect a fence within the required 30-foot setback. Tabled.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's also carried. So tonight we have a fairly busy meeting tonight, and you'll be able to address the board on these agenda items only until we get to Section 19, which is general public comments and concerns. So tonight we have the ability to hear from the public on cannabis legislation. We have to make a decision as a village before the end of this year as to whether or not we're going to opt out of the allowing merchants to sell cannabis in the village of Depew, or there could be consumption locations. So the plan is to hear from the public tonight on that. I know that we did have a proponent of selling cannabis in the village of Depew who's unable to make it tonight due to scheduling issues, what have you. So he has sent in a response that he'd like read, and I'm going to have Trustee Zimba read it at the appropriate time. Tonight, we'll also be appointing a DPW crew chief. Our second crew chief fella retired recently, and we're filling that. We have, next up, accept the resignation of one of our part-time code enforcement officers. Patrick's not even listed on there. He became a fire chief in the city of Tonawanda, so he's not going to be able to do the part-time job. We have an award of sidewalk bid on the Cheektowaga side to Masters Edge Concrete.
It is there.
Is it? Where was it? Oh, yeah, I see it.
First line.
Thank you.
Sure.
I didn't see that. So we're awarding a sidewalk bid on the Cheektowaga side. This is using community development block grant funds. This was the extra money, right?
Yes.
It was money that we had not fully used in years past. We were able to put it towards some additional sidewalks. Next resolution is to approve using the Arpa funds for the Fireman's Park Pavilion and bathroom project. Last Monday, we met here for a special meeting of the village board to listen to any other opportunities to use that funds. And we also heard more details about the planned pavilion and bathroom set. So that's up again tonight. Authorize the mayor to sign a memorandum of agreement with the Village of Depew and the PBA for requests for reimbursement of dental expenses that incur during a fiscal year, which is between June 1st and May 31st. And needs to be submitted by June 30th,
Yes.
immediately following the end of the fiscal year. So this basically puts it in writing that they have they see the dentist, let's say, on the 30th or 31st of May, they won't get the invoice, for another week or two after that. They have until June 30th in which to submit that for reimbursement. Return of unpaid taxes to the County of Erie. This would be for those residents that were unable to pay the village their village taxes, and it goes then back to the county. Want to add a little bit more on that?
It basically happens pretty much every year. Some people fall on hardship, and this is just the proper way to help them have a little more time. When we return the amounts down to the county of Erie, and then they put it on their collection data. They collect it, and then when the deadline hits for them to collect, they turn around and send a check to the village to cover that amount.
Our clerk's office collected $10,896,053. There was a balance due of $178,398.32. That's the amount that's going back to the county for them to follow up on collection. Authorization for an emergency sewer repair. This was a collapsed sewer at 39 Lincoln, and this was done under an emergency order, and it was done already, but in between meetings, so this had to be done. It's just officially going through the process.
Same with the other ones. That is in phase 5
Yes.
of our sewer plan. So with the other 2 that we had, or actually 3, the village will get reimbursed for them during that phase.
We dealt with this at the last meeting as well.
Correct.
Permission to attend a conference. This is for our code enforcement officer, Tony Fischone, to attend the Niagara Frontier Builders Building Officials Education Conference. That's quite a title. It's local. It's January 24th to the 26th, and use of village vehicles authorized. Permission for a taser to attend a taser instructor course in Syracuse for one of our police officers. Permission to attend and participate in the Christmasville parade that's being held in the Village of Lancaster. So that Depew 9, Engine 1, Engine 4, and Ladder 5 will be involved in that parade. That's on November 27th, starting at 6 p.m. Permission for Depew Fire Department. This one was also done, it was my mistake not getting it on last 2 weeks ago's agenda. However, the trustees were polled before that to allow the use of Engine 1 for 2 of our firefighters that got married on Saturday, November 6th. So we are doing this sort of post-haste, but the vehicle was used and then put back in the barn with no issues. Appoint a full-time Department of Public Works laborer. We're going to bring that up again. And permission for the tree lighting parade. So on November 29th, we're going back and doing a traditional village activity, which is lighting of the annual tree lighting ceremony at Fireman's Park. And there'll be a couple of food trucks there that we're waiving the permit fee. There'll be fire pits there for roasting marshmallows. There'll be music from Depew High School's choral unit. Books and cookies, right, Audrey? Open skate in the ice rink. And Santa will be arriving that night via the fire department. Permission to waive the permit fee. This is for a request from the Depew Community Action Team, DCAT, who's been actively working on 570 Gould. Audrey, if you want to share what we're doing this permit fee for?
We want to put heat in the building. We're to that point. We have electricity. We want to put heat in the building. And we have a heating company that is going to help us. And we're just asking if we could possibly waive the permit fee.
And what was the fee, Tony?
$100.
$100. Okay. So those are our items on the agenda tonight that's open at this point to public comment. If you want to make comment on the cannabis legislation, I'd ask you to wait until we actually put that into public hearing mode. So any of the other, looks like 13 or 14 items, you can come to the podium, state your name. If you have a question, comment, we'll try and get it answered for you. Paul?
Hi, Paul Sprata, 58 Argus Drive. I just want to make a comment on the sidewalk bid. This is, I guess, on a Cheektowaga side. It's going in, and Masters Edge got the contract. Mm-hmm. They're the ones that I hired to put my sidewalk in, and I am very pleased with how they do it. They came through my neighborhood 2 years ago, I think, of course, you'd know it, 2 years after I put my sidewalk in. 2 years later, they come around and they did the whole street, which didn't cost anybody anything. But I think the name of that company was Royal, was it? I think out of Pendleton. And they also did an excellent job. I was very pleased with how neat they worked and how fast they work. Quality and time were very essential. But Masters Edge they do great work.
Right.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they're on Broadway, I think next to Cheektowaga Town Hall. Yeah, they do excellent work.
Yeah, so this was money that was left over the last couple of years of community development block grant money that was not spent fully for sidewalks, came in just a little late. So they made it available to us to go back out and use it again, so that's good.
Okay, good. I just wanted to mention that. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Anybody else on the items that are on the agenda?
If it's something different,
If it's, yeah, it's got to wait until we get to the next section. All right. With that, I'll entertain a motion to read off the public hearing notice and open the meeting.
Public hearing will be held on Monday, November 8th, 2021 at 7 p.m. in Depew Village Hall Council Chamber. The purpose of the hearing is to discuss the cannabis legislation. The meeting room is wheelchair accessible.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make a motion that we open the public hearing on November 8th at 7:20 p.m.
I second the motion.
All those in favor of opening the meeting?
Aye.
Opposed? It's carried. Okay, anybody have comments on the possibility of the village opting out or opting or staying into selling cannabis in locations in the village of Depew? Paul?
You're the first one.
We do have a written statement to read.
Yes, we have a written statement from somebody who couldn't be with
Yeah,
us
I
tonight. Yep.
understand that. Does anybody, this cannabis legislation, is that statewide? Is that in New York State? Do you have any inventory of any municipality that either has passed it for or against it?
There's a couple that have already taken action on it. As far as our locals,
We talked to the villages at our last village association meeting, and I think Springville was yes, Blaisdell was yes.
Orchard Park, I believe, was a no.
Opted out, and there's another one, Grand Island opted out.
Grand Island? Yeah.
But yeah, the majority of them seem to opt in.
Okay, I heard a rumor that Clarence opted out.
Yes, they did. That was on the actual, either the news or Buffalo News. I did read that too last week.
Okay,
Our goal is in the next month here is to take any input that might come about and as a group come up with a decision so that we can do this the first meeting in December. So it's 2 meetings from now.
all right, I think that's about all that I've got on that.
Would you like us to have the ability to sell marijuana?
Would I?
Yeah.
Not particularly.
Okay. Do you have any reasons why? This is what we're really trying to get. And since you're a regular here, I value
Yeah.
your opinion.
Well, I've been retired for over 8 years now, but I worked at the border for 35 years. Canada has legalized it, and a neighbor of mine, younger than me, still works for Homeland Security, and he keeps reminding me how lucky I am that I retired when I did, because he's on an ice team, and he says you wouldn't believe what's coming in. He's like does a lot with Canada Post, people sending stuff via mail. He says you wouldn't believe what people try to get away with these days compared to what it was 8.5 years ago when I was still working. But I have personal reasons. We have enough other problems in this world to worry about, and we don't have to appease these, what would you call them? I don't want to call them deadheads because that's typecasting, but that's what it amounts to.
So I guess just so we're clear, this is not to regulate the use of.
I know.
Yep.
It's the distribution.
And any place, Darren sat in on the meetings with me, and we've come to know, listening to other municipalities, where you can't smoke cigarettes, it's the same place you're not going to be able to light up with a cannabis cigarette.
Right.
So there's a number of our parks are like that.
Yeah.
Places of employment are like that.
University of Buffalo, their whole campus, the North Campus is non-smoking.
Yeah.
Not just in the buildings, the whole campus.
Right.
So just,
Chief, did you have anything you might want to put on?
No, I share your sentiments on this. I think it's a lot of unknown. We have this marijuana legislation passed, but we don't have any rules on how to enforce impairments. If somebody's driving a car,
right.
we don't have the technology to measure how much marijuana was consumed. So I'm hesitant at this point.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Paul.
All right, thank you.
Dave Burkhardt,
I just have a quick question. Dave Burkhardt, 5 Autumn Lee.
5 Autumn Lee.
On the property where
this store would be, would they be allowed to smoke it in the parking lot? The cannabis?
I would say probably.
Yeah, I would say you probably could, because there is no rule or
It'd be like
restriction
smoking a
or law.
cigarette. So if you could smoke a cigarette on that property, probably.
Right. Well, I would hate to have a store in the village then, because I think that would cause problems if they're smoking it on the property and then driving away and so they get in a car accident or something. I think it would cause problems. I would agree with you, Chief.
My understanding is that if no smoking is allowed, say a restaurant or bar, as they are in Erie County, you wouldn't be able to smoke marijuana in those places either. But they have smoke areas outside. Would they smoke it outside? I'd imagine yes.
And you could have a bunch of kids, young adults, stopping at the store and then sitting down on a bench or something and smoking that stuff for maybe half an hour or whatever, and just meeting and talking and stuff, and then going out and driving, and you never know.
There is going to be some coordination as to where you could put one of these shops. So I know that it's come up, we passed ordinances, a law a couple of years back about sales of cigarettes. Can't be within 500 or more feet.
100 feet or.
I think it was 500 feet.
School building, church.
Yeah. So even if we make this decision to officially opt out of it, or if we don't do anything, means that we're in for it, it'll be at least a couple of years before anything happens. And at this point, anybody could get their hands on marijuana at an illegal source. So,
Yeah, I just worry about people driving with it.
could be,
and stuff.
yep.
There are some areas in some states that have, where you go in, they have the cannabis shop, and on one side you go in, you buy your legalized marijuana, but on the other side of the same building, it's a recreational use room, almost like a cigar smoking shop. And I think a lot of people are thinking about that too, correct? And then you're coming out, and if they're getting in a car and driving, that's where the hands of our police are tied, because we don't have there's nothing to regulate it as to, there's no parameters that were set, how
Yeah.
you detect it.
I wish they would wait until a machine was made to detect something like that before they okayed this thing. But
Okay.
I thank you.
Yep, so we do have a written statement I'm going to ask trustee Zimba to read. It's put together by Thomas Schneider, I believe. That's on,
Resident Thomas Snyder.
right. So I know Mr. Schneider is, he's coming to Village Hall. I happened to be in the office at the time, and I listened to him. I know that he's been at the Lancaster and the Village of Lancaster and in Cheektowaga sessions. Tonight, he could not make our meeting, so when he called in to say that, I allowed him to put together a couple-minute written statement. I thought it was only fair that we hear from Mr. Schneider. So, trustee Zimba, if you want to read that for us?
Good evening again. This is not my statement. This is a statement of Resident Snyder. It starts as follows. Good evening to everyone in attendance and watching on YouTube. My name is Thomas Snyder. I'm a business owner in Depew. First, I would like to thank Mrs. Graskowski for notifying Mayor Peterson that I cannot be in attendance tonight, and also thank you to Mayor Peterson for agreeing to read this statement on my behalf. I'm grateful for the courtesy you have extended. Currently, I own and operate 2 businesses in Depew. I am a member of the Lancaster Area Chamber of Commerce and am also a member of the New York Cannabis Growers and Processors Association. I would also like to be an owner-operator of a cannabis dispensary in Depew. One of the businesses which I would be closing should I be granted a dispensary license is Cloud Chasers Vapor Lounge. This business is an age-restricted site that is operated free of infraction of any kind for 6 years. On September 22nd, I had the opportunity to speak with Focus Foundation Program Director John Brusso, parentheses, absolutely great guy, a straight shooter, by the way, end parentheses. about a survey they had sent out. This survey was sent only to people that subscribed to their newsletter. I do not know the results of it, but felt it probably leaned in the foundation's favor. On October 6th, I made a post on the Facebook page, You Grew Up in Depew, New York. If you get a broader view of what citizens of Depew think about having safe access to regulated cannabis is. Of 30 respondents, 27 reported yes, that they would support dispensaries. I asked the 3 no votes why they felt the way they did, to no response. Mr. Bruce also made some good points at Lancaster's public comment hearing on October 7th about packaging and THC levels. New York State will implement the nation's strictest standards on packaging. No child-friendly images or colorful pictures, as well as a cap on the THC levels at 3%. I had sent all board members an email on September 18th at 12:19 p.m. to introduce myself and offer my knowledge to this subject to help guide the model of an industry I would like to see in our community, and do so with integrity and empathy for the end user. I have heard concern over, parentheses, who is going to be running these businesses, close parentheses. I am one of those people, someone who has run businesses in your village for the past 6 years and has run them clean, someone that has fought to self-impose restrictions against my own vapor business to make clear our goal is safe access to age-restricted products for adults only. I have spent the entirety of my life as a resident of both Lancaster and Depew, and have a vested interest in seeing cannabis business operated to the highest standards. I want my shot to be looked at by all others as the benchmark of professionalism and aesthetic. At the top of this email is our logo design and name, the Helpful Cafe Cannabis Dispensary. We all know black market cannabis sales have been going on since there has been cannabis prohibition. We need to look no further than Main Street, Depew. But with legal sales, we have the opportunity to curtail this activity. Think about it this way. If you are selling cannabis illegally, do you want to set up somewhere where there is safe, legal access to cannabis, or do you want to set up in a town/village that is still prohibiting its sales? We can also ensure legal cannabis sales are clean cannabis sales, with no chance of having product on the street that has been laced with substances such as fentanyl. Legal cannabis will be taxed at the rate of 13%. 9% will go to the state, 4% to the county. Of that 4%, let me reread that. Legal cannabis will be taxed at a rate of 13%. 9% will go to the state, 4% to the county. Of that 4%, 3% will stay in the town or village in which a legal cannabis sale is made. That 3% does not need to go into the general fund either. It can be used as a direct funding source for anything the village may feel passionately about but fall short on funding it. On a very conservative estimate of a shop doing $1 million in revenue, that would equate to $30,000 to the village of Depew for whatever they may need. New York is estimated to bring in anywhere from $350 billion. Excuse me, I want to make sure I'm reading this right. $350 billion. Am I reading that right? Yes. New York is estimated, I'm struggling here for a second, I apologize. New York is estimated to bring in anywhere from 350, no, that would be million. 350 million.
Okay.
Got it right, the third time. To 431,000 in year one of legal cannabis sales tax revenue estimates from the Tax Foundation. Tax revenues in every state where cannabis is legal have gone up every year since legalization, with California bringing in over $1 trillion last year. But if we are not opted in, we receive none of it. You may say, parentheses, we can always opt in later, close parentheses. But there will be a finite number of licenses granted. Senate Majority Leader People Stokes, Senior Advisor Leah Helton Pope has told me if towns opt out now, their chance of opting in later and the municipality getting a license are very narrow. Should the board choose to opt out, I ask the local law be amended to allow for referendum and put it to public vote. Thank you again, Mayor Peterson and Ms. Grankowski, for allowing the statement in to the entire board of hearing me out as well. I'd be grateful to have a seat at the table on this process and shape what cannabis sales in the village of Depew can look like now and in the future. I look forward to hearing from you all. My direct phone number is located below, and I can be reached through email as well. I'm going to read the number, okay? No? Sam?
No, it was, is he, he's online?
Yes, yes.
Any questions or comment?
He does have two additional comments. One was opting in would not prevent people from still using, or I'm sorry, opting in would not prevent people from still using it. And this would also not all of a sudden create people driving while using it, as it has been going on for decades already. And just a correction that that one number was 431 million.
Well, then we're missing a zero then on the docket,
Okay.
right?
Yes. He just wanted to.
Thank you.
Then he's missing a zero on the document, I believe.
Anybody else with any comments on my outside?
No, and no other comments at this time.
Okay. Thank you, Darren, for reading that. Came in late, and I appreciate you taking that time. You wanted it.
Yes, I do. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
All right, anybody else?
And you know why you mentioned Main Street?
You mentioned what?
You mentioned
Street.
Main Street. I guess either that's his competition or that's his reason why he wants to open a shop.
Let me see the thing.
Where do you get Main Street from? They sell that stuff on every street in America, it doesn't matter where it is. East Amherst, where you live.
No, no, Black Mark.
Could I have your name, sir?
Frank Stalteri.
Thank you.
Yeah, he did reference Main Street, Depew. But legal sales, we have the opportunity to curtail this activity. Think about it this way. If you are selling cannabis illegally, do you want to set up somewhere where there is safe, legal access to cannabis, or do you want to set it up in a town or village that's still prohibiting its sales? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you're right. They're sold everywhere, so. Okay. All right. Anything else? All right, Erica, if you take us out.
Yep. Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make a motion that we close this public hearing at 7:37 PM on November 8th.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. All right, we'll move to agenda item number 2. Appointment of the DPW crew chief. Pursuant to section 4-400 of the village law, I, Mayor Kevin Peterson, do hereby appoint Ron Hodam to the position of full-time general crew chief for the Department of Public Works, effective November 9th, 2021, at a rate as stated in the budget. The probationary period for this appointment will be for a period of 26 weeks. Need a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Hammernick?
Yes.
Trustee Ziemba?
Yes.
Trustee Kasavich?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Stepniak?
Yes.
Mayor Peterson?
Yes. And Ken, Superintendent, would you like to introduce your...
Ron Terry's in the back. He's a 27-year employee. He's done a lot of jobs throughout the village. I've worked with him for his 27 years here. He's somebody you can count on to come in when it's called for overtime or for emergency situations.
What's the role of a crew chief?
Basically, he runs the crews out in the streets. He's in charge of calling in assaulters and the plow trucks in the wintertime, which is important. Just generally, the general knowledge of everything is
So I think your guys, Chief Miller, will have his cell phone number for this winter.
Before you leave today, Ron.
Congratulations, Ron. I've gotten to know you since I joined the board in 2015, and it's been a pleasure to do business with you. Yep.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Item number 3, accept the resignation. Part-time code enforcement officer.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make the following resolution and move for its adoption. Be it resolved, the resignation of Patrick McNulty part-time code enforcement officer effective November 5th, 2021 is accepted.
I second that motion.
Need a roll call vote, please?
Trustee Hammernick,
Yes.
Trustee Ziemba,
Yes.
Trustee Gisavich,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Stumpniak,
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
That's carried.
Agenda item number 4, award a bid for sidewalk work on the Cheektowaga side of the village.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make the following motion and move for its adoption. Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the village engineer, the bid for the sidewalk bid from the bid opening October 5th, 2021, in the bid amount of $44,100 be awarded to Masters Edge Concrete, 3409 Broadway, Cheektowaga, New York, 14227.
I second the motion.
Need a roll call vote, please?
Trustee Hammernick,
Yes.
Trustee Ziemba,
Yes.
Trustee Gisavich,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Stumpniak,
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
That's carried.
Agenda item number 5, approve an Arpa funding project for building of a pavilion and bathrooms in Fireman Park.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make the following motion and move for its adoption. Whereas the Board of Trustees of the Village of Depew, New York held a special meeting to discuss the proposal to build the new Fireman's Park Pavilion bathrooms or any other ideas for using American Rescue Plan funds on November 1st, 2021 at 7 p.m. in the Council Chambers, 85 Manitou Street, Depew, New York, 14043. Whereas all persons were given an opportunity to speak for or against the use of the American Rescue Plan funds to build a new pavilion bathroom structure in Fireman's Park. Now therefore be it resolved, the proposed use for the American Rescue Plan funds for this project is hereby adopted.
I second that motion.
Need a roll call vote, please?
Trustee Hammernick,
Yes.
Trustee Ziemba,
Yes.
Trustee Gisavich,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Stumpniak,
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
That's carried.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much. I know it was good. I think we had a good communication as far as discussing the project through, and appreciate that. I think it's going to be something transformational for the village of Depew for years to come.
Agreed.
Thank you, everybody. Okay, next is agenda item number 6. Authorize the mayor to sign a memorandum of agreement with the Village of Depew and the PBA of our police department.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make the following resolution and move for its adoption. Whereas the Village of Depew and the PBA have come to the mutual agreement for dental reimbursement. All residents for reimbursement, I'll request for reimbursement of dental expenses incurred in the fiscal year, parentheses, June 1st through the following May 31st, end parentheses, may be submitted to the village by June 30th. Must be submitted to the village by June 30th, immediately following the end of the fiscal year. Now therefore be it resolved that Mayor Kevin Peterson is authorized to sign the memorandum of agreement.
I second the motion.
Need a roll call vote, please?
Trustee Hammernick,
Yes.
Trustee Ziemba,
Yes.
Trustee Gisavich,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Stumpniak,
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
That's carried.
Agenda item number 7, authorize the return of unpaid taxes to the county of Erie.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make the following motion and move for its adoption. Be it resolved, the report of the village administrator showing that in accordance with Article 14, Section 1436, Paragraph 2 of the real property tax law is returning to the County of Erie Department of Finance the 2021-2022 unpaid village tax accounts together with the unpaid sewer account pursuant to verification and certification of the Board of Trustees, and also that as of November 1st, 2021, has collected the sum of $10,896,053, leaving the balance of $178,398.32. In accordance with Section 987 of Real Property Tax Law, the village has imposed a fee of $2 per parcel for the notice of unpaid taxes. The administrator has added $384 to the balance, We are also adding the unpaid law mowing charges of $4,426.08, thereby leaving a balance of $183,208.40, which has been transferred to the account A440 due from other governments for further collection on the town-county bill is hereby accepted.
I second the motion.
Just so we're clear, the balance was $183,208.40. Okay. I need a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Hammernick,
Yes.
Trustee Ziemba,
Yes.
Trustee Kasavich,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Stempniak,
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
Carried.
Agenda item number 8, authorization for emergency sewer repair.
Sorry. It's not.
It's lottery.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make the following motion and move for its adoption. Whereas, in response to a collapsed sewer line at 39 Lincoln Street, the sewer is being repaired as part of an emergency order with E&R General Construction Incorporated. The emergency work being done will be at no expense to the village once reimbursement has been paid. Be it further resolved that the work is authorized to be completed as per the proposal from E&R General Construction.
Second the motion?
Need a roll call vote, please?
Trustee Hammernick,
Yes.
Trustee Ziemba,
Yes.
Trustee Kasavich,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Stempniak,
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
Carried.
Agenda item number 9, permission to attend a conference by our code enforcement officer.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make the following motion and move for its adoption. Be it resolved, permission is hereby granted to Code Enforcement Officer Anthony Ficione to attend the Niagara Frontier Building Officials Education Conference to be held at the Millennium Hotel, 2040 Walden Avenue, Cheektowaga, New York, from January 24th to the 26th, 2022. The use of a village vehicle is authorized.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's carried. Agenda item number 10, permission to attend a course, a TASER instructor course by one of our officers.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make the following resolution and move for its adoption. Be it resolved, permission is hereby granted to Police Officer Alex Wojciechowicz to attend the TASER instructor course to be held at the Syracuse Police Department, 511 State Street, Syracuse, New York, 13202, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on December 16th, 2021. The use of village vehicle is authorized.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's carried. Agenda item number 11, permission to participate in the Christmasville Parade.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make the following motion and move for its adoption. Be it resolved, permission is hereby granted to Depew 9 Engine Number 1, Engine Number 4, and Ladder Number 5 to attend the Christmasville Parade on Saturday, November 27th, 2021, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. in Lancaster.
I second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's carried. Agenda item number 12, permission for the Depew Fire Department to use Depew Engine 1 last Saturday at a wedding of 2 of its members.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make the following motion and move for its adoption. Permission is hereby granted to firefighters Thomas Klukowski and Cora Gage to utilize Depew Engine 1 on Saturday, November 6, 2021, from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. for the celebration of their wedding. The wedding will take place at the Buffalo Event Center, 4545 Transit Road, Clarence, New York.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's carried. Thank you. That was my mistake not getting it on last time. Agenda item number 13, appoint full-time Department of Public Works laborer. Pursuant to Section 4-400 of Village Law, I, Mayor Kevin Peterson, do hereby appoint Dylan Schneider to the position of full-time Department of Public Works laborer at the salary stipulated in the budget. I need a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Hammernick.
Yes.
Trustee Ziemba.
No.
Trustee Kasevich.
No.
Deputy Mayor Stupniak.
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
That's carried.
Agenda item number 14, excuse me. Permission to hold the tree lighting parade and ceremony.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make the following motion and move for its adoption. Be it resolved, permission is hereby granted for the annual tree lighting parade, including fire apparatus and Santa on Monday, November 29th, 2021, beginning at 6 p.m. The Depew Police Department, who will provide the necessary traffic enforcement, has approved the parade route. Be it further resolved, permission is being granted for House of Munch and Bene Sibo food trucks to be at the event, and the permit fee is waived. Fire pits will also be provided and supervised by Depew Fire Department for roasting marshmallows.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's carried. Agenda item number 15, permission to waive the permit fee.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make the following motion and move for its adoption. Whereas the Depew Community Action Team has requested permission to waive the permit fees pertaining to the installment of the heating and ventilation equipment at 570 Gould Avenue, Depew, New York 14043, to restore the Don Polsky building. Now, therefore, be it resolved that permission is hereby granted to the Depew Community Action Team to waive the permit fees pertaining to the installment of the heating and ventilation equipment at 570 Gould Avenue, Depew, New York 14043, to restore the Don Polsky building.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's carried. Agenda item number 16, department head reports, the building report from October 2021. I did not assign some.
I'll do it.
Go.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make a motion that we accept the building report from October 2021.
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? That's carried. Thank you, Erica, and Audrey for taking care of that. Employment applications, we received one from a Benjamin Fleck. Unfinished and other business, there is none. Public concerns and comments. And before we get there, we're going to introduce Elizabeth Brinkworth from Assemblymember Monica Wallace's office. Thank you for coming once again.
Yes, thank you for inviting me as always. Mayor, trustees, everyone, I hope your evening's going well. You know, it's always a rough start when we lose and gain an hour, so especially after that rough Bills game yesterday. But my name's Elizabeth Brinkworth. For those watching and those here tonight, I am Assemblymember Monica Wallace's Director of Community Affairs. This past Saturday, Assemblymember Wallace hosted her senior care event. It was titled Caring for Aging Loved Ones. It was really well attended, so we thank the public for taking time out of their Saturday morning for coming. We had presenters from ECMC, Center of Elder Law and Justice, Hospice and Palliative Care Buffalo. You know, they talked about living wills, stuff that happens towards long-term care, end of life, difficult conversations that need to happen. And we got a couple calls from residents who weren't able to make it, so we're happy to definitely point people in those directions if they need those resources. A lot of them are nonprofits, and they're very caring, compassionate people, and they're great to work with. Last week, Governor Hochul had signed Assemblymember Monica Wallace's legislation she sponsored. It's a bill that would ensure new homeowners are made aware of the options and the cost associated with installing at-home sprinklers. Installing a sprinkler system costs about the same as granite countertops, and they dramatically reduce the risk of death and severe injury from fire. Again, this is just an estimate. It's not mandating that homeowners have to put the system in. It's just making them aware. It's an option. And lastly, Assemblymember Wallace is hosting another free event in the district in December. It's Saturday, December 4th from 8:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. It's her recycling event. This is going to take place at the Cheektowaga High School there on Union Road. You make a reservation online. Again, if you're having issues making a reservation online, call our office and we will assist. I know a lot of the early morning slots have been taken up now, but there's still some in the later morning. So feel free to take advantage of that. But as always, if anyone has issues, have them give us a call. And thank you so much for allowing me a couple minutes.
So I've been monitoring some of the comments about e-waste and that particular, it was just a general question where to take it. And some people mentioned yours and some mentioned that they weren't able to get on. Is there going to be a finite number of reservations?
Yes, there were 40 for each time slot. And I know some people would call because they forgot to type an E or an R
Right.
in the URL, but if they just give us a call, we'll do it over the phone for them.
Okay, so you're saying a lot of the morning ones are probably taken.
Yes, at this point, I think when I last checked this morning, the 8 a.m., 8:30, and 9 was taken, I think 9:15, and then everything from 9:15 to 12 was still open when I last checked, yeah.
So were they allocating 15 minutes or something for each?
Yep, so there were 40 slots per 15 minutes. Just with COVID, it helps Sun King kind of keep everybody moving. That way their employees can organize the cars, take everything out, just so it's more orderly, because we know a lot of complaints from previous events we've held was just that people were stuck in line for 20 plus minutes just trying to get through. So we're just trying to do it in an orderly system, and Sun King says the reservations work best.
And I think in your event, her event, is 4 CRT type monitors or
Yes.
TVs?
Yes, there is a limit for the CRT monitors. You are correct, it's 4 of the TVs and 4 monitors total.
So I stand corrected, in our event that we had a couple weeks back with Casella and BCR collecting up the thing, there was a charge that BCR was collecting for CRTs
Yep.
and for large flat screen TVs. There was also a charge. So researching that day when I was sitting out here, Sun King does take them, but there's a limited number of the ones that they take.
Right, because it's free,
So that's pretty cool though, because people have asked, they didn't want to pay the $50 in ours.
yeah.
So but there's a limit of 4,
Yes, there is the limit of
and you
4.
need to get this reservation.
Yes, so that way they can kind of predict how many people are coming,
Sure.
because they got to bring the trucks, and we're working with the school district just so we're not taking up a lot of their parking lot with events going on.
Right.
Is there a donation with that? You have to make a donation?
You don't have to make one. You don't have to make a donation. It's suggested just to kind of help keep the events free. But you don't have to. I know some people said that the link immediately took them to a donation, but when we did it, we didn't have that. It's just kind of one of those things, just with recycling not being what it once was. They're encouraging donations again. You do not have to make a donation, though, to attend. It's free.
So really, it reinforces what smaller group
Yeah.
that we had. There is a cost to them for them to dispose of it as well.
Yeah, because yours was probably just a smaller, so,
Yep.
cost benefit, and then,
Good.
But yeah,
Anything else from Ms. Wallace?
I think that's it, but as always, feel free to give us a call. Any questions, we're here to help.
Great,
But thank you so much for your time.
great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we did get a report in, Darren, just before we came out to our pre-board, we ran out pre-board time. So this was from BCR, just so the public knows. They thanked us for working with them and Casella. They collected that day 2,768 and a half pounds of electronics from the residents. Oh, they say actually, they put Grand Island here, but this was sent to us. 800 pounds in desktops and laptops, 1,040 pounds in televisions, 14 pounds in cell phones, 728 pounds in small appliances and electronics that didn't make it into, just tossed on the side. So, we'll look to do better next time, next year, since it's a yearly process.
Thank you.
All right, hold on, we're going to go around the room. Tony, you have anything from code?
Just a quick rundown of my report for October. We issued 77 permits, did 46 construction inspections, we did 31 sewer inspections and issued 17 certifications for sewer, fielded 12 complaints, issued 9 violations and 2 appearance tickets.
Ken from DPW?
We're getting ready for the bad word snow, plows and salters are going on. West Dawson Playground is moving along. We're getting actually farther than I thought we were gonna get this year with the weather being like it is. Picking leaves is gonna be late this year. Obviously, there are a lot of them still on the trees. We've had a lot of complaints about road flooding but people are putting them in the street. Supposed to keep them on the curb, because that just washes them into the drains and plugs them up, so.
Keep them in the right of way.
Keep them in the right of way, not in the street. That's all I have, thank you.
Okay. I'm trying to look for the fire chief's report if he had one.
He didn't,
He-
until I came in anyway.
Yeah, I didn't see one here. Oh,
I do
fire-
have this one though that he sent, just the small one. Kevin Ferguson, and that's Todd's. But that's, I mean, it's not,
Yeah. Yeah. Who's doing the rec one tonight?
I have it.
You, okay, Audrey, this is for our rec department?
Recreation is working on the tree lighting. New lights are arriving on Wednesday. Andy from the Senior Center will be Santa this year. We've had a great first public skate with over 50 people, rented over 20 pairs of skates, and collected over $700. We sold over $15,000 worth of ice in September and October, and are selling more now that high school hockey will be starting. The Senior Center is doing great. They went to the casino on November 1st. They are busy with ceramics, cards, and bingo. Sincerely,
All right.
Kevin Ferguson.
All right, thank you. Sam, legal?
Okay, so good news. I've updated everyone on the FOIL lawsuit. There's been no appeal filed, so that case is done. They found that the Pew's decision was not affected by a substantial error of law, which means we were right on the law, so that's good news, and we don't have to pay to defend an appeal. I have appeared in every tax certiorari Article 7 proceeding. There are 12 of them total. Few have settled already, and it looks like there will be no more tax refunds that we're aware of. At least if there are, we'll have significant advance notice. We are, and I don't know if Chief Miller and I are going to get into this, but we're coming up with a policy to deal with what's called First Amendment audits. And that's when someone comes in and just kind of films everyone in the building, engages with them. The idea is to find constitutional violations and potentially file a lawsuit. It's happening all over the country. These people post their videos on their YouTube channels. And it happened here. So we're looking into the constitutionality of that. And you can tell Monica Wallace, remember what I learned in her research and writing class. And it is as confusing as it was then as it is now. But we're coming up with a procedure on that. Chief Miller's been instrumental in hitting the ground running and coming up with ways to properly address this. That's about it from me.
Okay. Chief Miller?
Thank you. Our department, our officers are doing a great job out there. The safety of the public is our highest priority. We are committed to ensuring all our residents feel safe in this village. We are currently reviewing and updating all our department policies and procedures to ensure that we're applying best practices throughout this organization. We began deploying body cameras today. Each officer will go through training before being issued a body camera. Once they are issued a camera, they will be expected to use it in accordance to our department policy as directed. It's important that we thank Assemblymember Wallace for securing the funding for these cameras. We appreciate that. They benefit the officers as well as the public we serve. So thank you, if you could share that with my monthly report. In October, we had 1,069 complaints. 958 were non-criminal, 111 were criminal complaints. We had 41 accidents, 35 of them were property damage only, and 6 were injury accidents. We arrested 20 males and 13 females, and we issued 159 traffic summonses. I just want to thank the public for their support and encourage anyone to call us if they think they have been a victim of a crime or observe something strange. We are here to help, and we can't do that if you don't call us to make us aware of the problem. So thank you.
Okay. And we'll go through the trustees. Trustee Zinda, anything tonight?
I just want to wish our 2 firefighters the very best in their marriage. Many happy years.
Well, they'll both be getting up together when there's a call, so makes it pretty good. Trustee Hemmerneck.
Yes, I just want to say thank you for the DPW, for the one-side street parking, and the police department for our Beggars Night in the section of the Barnabas area where I live. It went very well, and it was really nice.
Okay.
Great job.
And on the other side, Trustee Cassett.
Nothing on my end today.
Okay. Deputy Mayor Stepniak.
Yes, I'm going to piggyback off the chief's report. So while it's important to call if you see something suspicious, at the end of November, we are having our tree inventory done in the village. So Davie Resource Group will be out and about measuring trees in your neighborhood. So if you see someone with a yellow Davie vest, they are authorized to be doing what they're doing, and you don't need to call us and alert us because we do authorize them to be on village property to do our tree inventory. So it's exciting. You know, if you want to talk to them, they're more than happy to talk about their work they're doing. And when we have our final report, I think Davie's going to come and present it to the public so we can learn more about what their findings were.
Great.
That's it.
All right, now we can open it up to general public and comments and questions. Mr. Burkhardt.
Dave Burkhardt, 518. Number 8, that emergency sewer repair, it was said that it won't cost the village anything once they refund our payment or whatever. Who's going to end up paying for that then?
It's already been, I'll let you take it.
No, you can go ahead, you know, as long as I.
That area is in the next phase of the DEC consent order. So the money's already been allocated for that in bonding.
Okay,
However, we couldn't wait for that to get to that point. The work had to be done, otherwise residents would be pretty upset. So we authorized repair work to be done. The money will be out of the bond money that we've already been awarded for that.
all right.
So,
Yeah, I knew somebody had to pay for it, and
yeah, it was in an area that's coming up, already been planned and budgeted for, but we had to do the work.
I'm sorry, I was trying to write. We also received different grants for that.
Yeah, that's right.
For those processes, Dave. We get what's called a WIA grant, clean water grant we get through Environmental Facilities Corporation, the EFC. So our financial advisors and our engineer prepare all the documentation they submitted for those grants.
The WIA grant is a huge one.
Yes, it is.
It's 25% of whatever that particular phase's cost is.
Oh.
So it does come in handy.
And it was put on hold last year,
Yes.
correct?
Right.
And then it just came back now. So it's a great thing.
yes. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Dave. Anybody else? Come on up. State your name and your address, please.
Craig Stalteri, 166 Sawyer.
366?
166.
166.
Yeah. On September 27th at your board meeting, they presented the count from the orange traffic sign that was on Main Street and extrapolated out in all 2 directions for an entire month. It would be over 68,000 cars are going down that street. Over 20% of the cars going down that street are speeding, which is almost 14,000. 18% of them, which is 12,200 something are going between 31 and 35 miles per hour. 2% are going between 36 and 40. 0.3%, which is 205 cars, 210 cars, are going between 41 and 45. And 0.1% are going between 46 and 65, which is somewhere around 70, 75 cars. I guess the Depew police only issued 4 tickets, 4 warnings on 5 details. When you have 14,000 speeding cars and there's only 4 tickets, that's way out of proportion. It's not going to make a dent at all. I'm interested in seeing if there's a way for the police to
Okay,
do something about
I'm going to add, since I took up your concern in one of the other meetings
Right.
and worked with Captain Norick and Chief Miller on getting vehicles out there. One thing that needs to be stated here, Frank, is that of the 17,037 vehicles that were exceeding 30 miles per hour, 12,267 of them were between 31 and 35. Correct?
Yeah, well,
So I'm going to tell you that if we're pulling over somebody that's doing 4 miles an hour over the speed limit, or even 5 miles an hour over the speed limit, I don't think our public's going to be totally in favor of that.
well, the 17,000 number was just for 2 weeks. In
I understand.
direction, so you have to multiply
Would-
it times 4.
Based on what you faxed me or sent me here,
Right.
and I've shared with the board and with the chief of police, because he knows this number,
Correct.
I think the most important number there, correct me if you don't think that it's true, is the 205 that are going between 41 and 45, and the 68 probably that are going between 46 and 65. Now, I don't know what the speed limit or the speed of the vehicles that the officers did pull over. I have no idea what that would be. But, yeah, technically, 12,267 of those cars were in violation of the law. However, I gotta tell you, if they pulled me over for doing 4 miles over, I'd be somewhat hesitant about that.
Well, there's still over
I think we
1,300.
got to look at this, is the breakdown. You have 260 or 270 some cars in our target range of 30 to
41 to
41 to
65.
And I think those are our target times, but the idea of having a police car there 24/7 is,
Well, I know that
that's not a
can't happen,
possibility. And obviously, we got to break down this data, which I don't have in front of me, find out what exact times these things occurred.
Right.
And then we can
The timing would be good
strategize
too,
the
but
cars in that time frame.
it starts at 6 o'clock in the morning and it goes until midnight.
Sure.
It's all day long.
Yeah, but we can't keep a car out there.
The drivers
24/7.
have absolutely no respect for the fact that it's a neighborhood. And,
But your point was clear, that there is a speeding issue going on Main Street. And now it's time for us to address it. Now we have to break down this data into a specific time. You gotta remember, if you put a police car out there, everybody's gonna slow down anyways. And it's hard to catch those.
well, I saw the fella doing it on the day after Columbus Day. I heard the siren going on and then stopping shortly, so I went outside.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's
and I saw him
impossible, we
doing
do
it. And it can be done.
Obviously, but you can't expect a car there 24/7.
Well, I've been living around there for 10 years.
We
That's
have-
the first time. The day after Columbus Day, just a few weeks ago, was the first time in 10 years I saw a police car loop around and pull anybody over for speeding, and it's been going on for 10 years.
I think then you should look at the fact that you came a month or so ago, and it did spur some action. Whether or not it's, as much as you'd like to see, and whether or not it actually had anything to do with these 273 cars that are clearly speeding 41 to 65 in a street like that is a concern. Even this morning for me coming here to Village Hall, guys were pretty tricky. You had one of the Durangos parked on George Urban Boulevard on the inside corner. And yeah, I could have been pulled over because I was above 30 miles an hour.
But yeah, you gotta understand that once you're out there and the lights are on, you got a car stop, everybody else is slowing down. They're not gonna get that 65 mile an hour driving by at that point.
Yeah.
I guess my question to you, I mean, obviously, I understand there's a problem, we're working on to address it. What is
I
your-
saw some
what is-
trucks today
what is
speeding
your-
down that street that were just completely out of hand.
What-
And they were flying.
What is your expectation? No, I mean, obviously, it's unrealistic for us to be there 24/7.
Make
Obviously,
a,
we can, we.
make a spectacle a few times a week so people know that you're watching. They won't know when you're watching, but they'll know that you're watching, and maybe they'll find some other way to go. Because they're cutting through that neighborhood, and here's how they're coming. They're turning off of Broadway down Panora. They're turning off of Transit on Terrace, and they're going to Panora. They're going to Sheldon, or they're going to Central, and they're taking the shortcut. And they're taking the shortcut because they think that it's worth their while. I don't consider that a shortcut myself if I were driving. I wouldn't do that myself. But you're going through people's neighborhoods. And it's just, I've had scenarios where I'm pulling out of my driveway, pulling into my driveway, or I'm walking and I watch things go on. I can't believe the nerve that these people have to do that. If you did that where they would live, they'd be wanting Joe Biden to fly in on Air Force One.
But you gotta understand something. You're not specific to Main Street. This happens in
Oh,
every
I know it's
street
everywhere.
in Depew.
Yeah.
And we can't have a car in every street 24/7. So we have to strategize and find out the best times to enforce this.
Well, I guess what I want to say is I haven't seen a Depew police car or a Lancaster police car pull over a car in 10 years that I've been around that neighborhood. So you've been pulling whatever your counts are for all the other years of everything that you pulled over. None of them are from there. So take some of that attention from some of the other neighborhoods in Depew and come over to the hood and help us out. Because when you're pulling in and out of the driveway or you're going for a walk, I don't have any children, I'm not walking a dog, but I've gone up to a few people and said, do you notice things? They got to notice. Now, why they don't come to a board meeting? I don't know. Some people don't want to stand up in front of all of you and do this. But,
I can guarantee you will have an increased presence.
I'm ticked off.
Now
When
that-
I came the
now
last
that-
time to the meeting to do it, I had a guy the day before that almost climbed right over the top of my giant car. I didn't even get a chance to complete the turn. I don't know where the hell he turned from, probably from Sanilac or something, and he just floored it because he thought he could. And he didn't have to slow down because he thought he didn't have to. And I understand that's just the cameras were broken. You told me you're working on the cameras. I said, well, what about that camera? And you said, well, there's only one camera that does plates. That's by the motorcycle club. I don't know if that's going to the FBI or if it's you guys. Who knows? Nobody will say.
can't confirm.
And then the other cameras are just broken. So,
We're working on your concerns. That's my best answer to you.
okay.
Okay.
This
Well, I
isn't
think-
just, I just want to say, this isn't just 4 tickets, like now, since this happened. This is the only 4 tickets that I've seen in 10 years.
Well, I think that Captain Norick has put
He's
that
put a lot of
street
effort.
on
Yes,
a rotation.
yes.
Okay.
So my only concern is to take the numbers with a little bit more analyzation, that the majority of them, yes, technically, they're over 30, but the majority of them are not excessive.
It's actually a larger problem you have. Why are people cutting down those streets, and why do they feel they can do it? And so that goes over to Terrace, that goes over to the turn on Panora, and
You could say the same thing for Bostwick on Transit to go to Walden to eliminate the light. There are so many of these, quote, cut-throughs.
right. I mean, where I grew up in Snyder, I mean, I don't know. If you take the shortcut from Main Street on LeBrun to go ahead and curve around to go over by VA Hospital, I didn't see that happen too much, and I was over there all the time because that's where I grew up. And but if people were doing that, I guarantee you, people living on LeBrun would be complaining about it.
I know, you've wanted to be deputized and put with a camera.
No, I just told you. I said I'll be happy to.
I know you
I can go outside for 15 minutes and find you 25 things that could have
I
gone
know,
on.
we're not deputizing anybody recently, so
Oh,
I think you should take some solace, if you would, in the fact that you came before the board, you stated again, I worked with the captain to get somebody out there.
Okay.
It's on a rotation. I think that the numbers, when you look at them, you can break them down and say, wow, there's like 12,267 cars that could get a ticket. It's an impossibility.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, we'd be dealing with residents saying, what the heck are you turning me over for 4 or 5 miles over?
I saw 5 trucks today that were flying down that street within about a 5 to 10 minute period. It was just unbelievable how fast they were going. That's all I can tell you. And they were all coming from.
I think you should be happy that within 10 years, now things are like that. I want to say that the captain is working.
20% of the trucks say Capozzi on them.
Okay. We're addressing your concerns.
Yeah.
Can I just ask a question?
Sure.
I'm sorry, I just listened to your statement, and you said that you lived there in the last 10 years, that you have never seen a Depew or Lancaster
No,
police car
never.
there. Does that mean that you stand at your window 24/7?
No, I'm saying with all the hundreds of times I've gone to the post office or walked to the store or gone for a walk, or before I had a heart attack, I used to bike 35 miles a day during the summertime. All of those experiences, I never saw a police car.
I can only speak for myself. I've been on this department for 25 years. I spent a lot of time on Main Street over my years. So to say they were never there, that is not true.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? What would be a village board meeting without?
Well, try to bring a little light into the
I
situation.
appreciate that.
Who's going to ask me questions?
And we're gonna put a light in that cupola, just so you know,
Oh, good.
all right?
And ventilation, both.
Okay.
Speaking of putting a light on the situation, the tree lighting, is that going to be at Fireman's Park
You
or
betcha.
Veterans Park?
Fireman's Park.
And that'll be on the new pine tree that was planted
You
this
betcha.
summer? Is that tree kind of small compared to
It's
the
the
one?
biggest one I could get from the local growers.
Don't bring it up, Paul. Kevin's very upset about the size, but he doesn't realize
It
that
grows-
it's going to grow.
I know.
It
I'm
grows
just saying this
12
is the
inches
first
every year.
Yeah.
That's what they tell me.
What about the pine tree, the only pine tree that's in Veterans Park?
Yeah, and that has been electrically rewired,
Yeah,
so that there'll be lights on that as well.
okay.
Yep.
We just didn't have the opportunity like Rockefeller Center, to get a big tree.
Well,
Then
we could,
we'd want a skating pond around.
the local places sell between 10 and 11-foot trees
Yeah,
generally, so we got an 11-foot tree, and that's the best I could get. Last year's one we cut down. We're trying, as a Tree America community, we're trying not to cut down trees.
oh, that's good, and I'm glad to see
It will
that
be something to look at in a couple of years.
Oh, yeah, my kids will be able to.
Well, myself, too.
Yeah, and yourself. One other comment I wanted to make is, again, about Fireman's Park with that new pavilion. Do you have a time frame as to when construction is going to begin
Well, I'm
or end? How long will it
I'm
take?
glad that we were able to work our way through it, because we don't want to miss next year's construction season. And that's what the architects had stressed.
Okay,
That's why we went to put it on. I asked if we would do it this meeting or the one at the end of the month. And the recommendation was the earlier the better.
okay.
And we still need to get bids and everything, so we still have to go through the normal process. So we don't even have a company who's going to be doing it.
Do you know how long that process will take offhand? Ballpark figure?
I don't think it's not a tremendously elaborate building.
No, it isn't.
I
It's pretty
don't-
basic, but
It
I
is.
think it's going to be a tremendous asset.
So
For the whole village.
Depends on, materials, maybe like, I'd say tops a year,
Yeah,
maybe, I don't know.
I'd like to see it so that next year, when we do tree lighting,
yeah,
then we'd be able to open up the doors there and have, something going on in there.
yeah, yeah.
So that's my ultimate goal, is to be a year from now.
Okay, all right, that sounds good. I think it's going to be a tremendous asset, something that should have been done years ago. It was tried a few years ago when there was a former mayor here, but I think, as you mentioned, he wanted to put up the Taj Mahal.
Yeah, it was a little.
A little pricey. It was extremely pricey, but I think for the money we're getting, this is free money. I think it's going to a good cause. It's pretty basic, but it's going to be a tremendous improvement
It'll
over
look a
what's
whole
there
lot
now.
better than what's there now.
Oh, yeah. And it's not just for firemen. I mean, it's called Fireman's Park, but there's going to be 2 rooms in there, or halls, whatever you want to call them, that'll be available for rental.
Yep.
With, I think you said kitchen facilities?
Yeah, not elaborate, but
Yeah, basically.
refrigerator, microwave, sink, that kind
Yeah.
of stuff, yeah.
And the bathrooms will be incorporated in that
Correct.
building, which that'll be huge over
Correct.
what we've got over there now.
Yep.
So, all right, that's the
Good.
only comment I
Thank
wanted to
you.
make. Thank you.
Yep. One final time, anybody? Okay, claims and accounts, please.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, The claims and accounts have been audited by the Finance Committee and are approved for payment as follows.
In the general fund, $1,292,116.65. Community Development Fund, $251.61. Sewer Fund, $63.06. Capital Projects, $8,672.71. And the Building Department renovation, $139,200 even.
I second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's carried. And adjournment, please.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make the following motion to adjourn the meeting.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And it's carried. And that's at 8:25. Thank you.